Welcome to EVO Studios. Today I'm going to discuss the three main modes of our gimbal line. Not only that, I'm going to give you some samples of what they do, how they work, and some scenarios of which you can try to use them in. Sound like a plan? Let's get to it. The good news is that the entire EVO Gimbals line shares all the same mode functions and the same button presses and the same controls. Obviously, some of our gimbals are designed more for professional rigs and others for the everyday shooter, like our smartphone line of product. But at the end of the day, it's all the same when it comes down to operating your modes. There are three modes within the gimbal line. The default startup mode is called pan follow. There is lock mode, and then there is full follow mode. There is a fourth mode, or you could call it a fourth mode, that's particularly important in our smartphone line, which is the selfie mode, which isn't applicable to the more professional gimbals, but when you're operating a smartphone and that's your main thing, it's nice to be able to triple click the mode button and have your camera spin around for that all important selfie. More about that later. The default startup mode, pan follow as we like to call it, the pan follow mode. So what that essentially is it locks your lens with the horizon plane. You can then pan your gimbal by steering it with your wrist. But your lens, no matter where you go, up high, down low, will always stay level with the horizon. Now, where does this come into play? Well, if you want to sink your hands down low and get your lens real close to the ground, shooting level, you're going to need to use this mode. Or if you're, say, doing some sort of long lens shot through the trees and you're walking along, something real cinematic, this mode comes into play. And it is in general, and hence it's the default startup mode, it is in general kind of a good go-to if you don't really, if you're new to the gimbal game. It's a great go-to. You can change your lens position with the joystick by simply tilting the lens up or down, and then that is your new horizon line. So it's going to, originally when you turn it on, it's going to default with the actual horizon line, but you can correct your shot by using the thumb joystick and correct, or change, I should say, your horizon line to your needs. The other place that this default startup mode, pan follow mode, works really well is with any POV type situation. So you're follow camming somebody, all right, say on a skateboard, or even POV wearable, like with our SS mountable gimbal. This default startup mode is pretty much the only way to go, because let's just say mountain biking or motocross, for instance, you're going to have your gimbal mounted to your chest with the SS mountable, but as your body is moving, you don't want to have your lens staring down into the dirt. You want to keep it forward, ahead, down the horizon line, over your bars, for instance, okay? So that's pretty important, and that's where the SS mountable, when it default starts up to this pan follow mode, is really gonna work best. If you use some of the other modes with a gimbal that's mounted to your body, it could create some unwanted shots. So as a default, use the default startup pan follow mode whenever you're mounting a SS mountable gimbal to your helmet or your body. So to get into the second mode, which is lock mode, all you need to do is press the mode button once. It will put your camera into lock mode, which locks essentially all access points. So it will start with your lens being level on the horizon, but wherever your lens is pointing when you start that initial press to enter lock mode is where it's going to stay. So you'll notice I can spin the grip now 360 degrees. I can do this, and the lens is always pointing in the same direction. So whether I'm doing this or this, the lens is always pointing in the same direction. Highly effective if you're trying to get a shot where you are running through some terrain, say trying to shoot mountain running, for instance. You can run through the terrain and your wrist and everything can move, but the lens will stay unbelievably smooth, okay? Works real well for that. You can make adjustments to the shot by using the joystick, but full lock mode, lock mode is just that. It is lock mode. To get out of lock mode, simply press the mode button once and you're back to your original default startup pan follow mode. The third mode is called full follow, and you get that by double clicking your mode button. Now what full follow does is it basically turns your gimbal into a steering wheel. So if you go up and tilt the lens down, you're shooting down. If you tilt back, you're shooting up. So it is basically full control over the direction of your lens with ultimate smoothness. Where is this applicable? Works great when you're trying to get some sort of super cinematic shot, or you are, say, following somebody on the ski hill, skiing or snowboarding, because the horizon line itself is sloping down or sloping up. So anytime you're, say, following somebody downstairs or hiking, this is a great mode because you can actually tilt the lens up to follow somebody up the hill, or to follow somebody down the hill, or to get on top of some action, or get below some action. To get out of full follow mode, simply press the mode button once and you're back to default pan follow startup mode. Thank you for visiting EVO Studios. I hope this information helped out. And we remind you, keep it smooth, my friends. Keep it smooth.